All right.
What, sounds like you?
Oh, I did it.
Yes.
That sounds so
It's a smiley face.
What do you mean put for? Oh, you can just. You don't have to put topic.
Oh, wait, the smiley face was.
I feel out of line saying Miss King. I feel like I'm just calling.
You can say Miss Rice King if you want. Then it sounds cooler. I know, right? That's wild. I still haven't legally changed my name, so there is still time for me to hyphenate my name instead of do just King, and then I could be Miss Rice King. I could make that my legal name. They've been through stuff?
Yeah.
They've been stabbed, they've been written on.
I mean, all the calculators at the school have.
No, it's
I mean, I think Garrett sat on this.
Miss Rice, can you keep your name till next week?
Nope, you gotta do King or Rice King. You can do Rice King. You can forget. You can be like, hey, Miss Rice King. You can do that.
Oh,
But we gotta catch ourselves.
Yeah, but you gotta catch yourselves. I'll be like, I don't know what you're talking about, and then you'll say King late, and it's fine.
Did we kill an animal?
Yes.
What animal?
Let me think about. We'll decide what animal you kill.
Play your game. Nobody has to. Anyway.
Bambi.
Oh, I don't like.
no,
I don't
we
like.
cannot kill Bambi.
I don't like Bambi. So I'm
We
gonna
would
leave.
like Bambi. Thank you, Bambi. What about
Stitch. Nemo. Dory. I got nothing. We're trying to decide what gets killed if you guys call me Miss Rice. All right. What is the sum of the measures of angles in a triangle? 180. Measure of angle A plus the measure of angle B plus the measure of angle C is 180 degrees. Okay. This next little part is super handy. If you have two angles on one straight line, then two angles on one straight line add up to what? 180, right? Two angles on one straight line add up to 180. So if this angle was like, let's say this angle was 70 degrees, for instance, then what would angle 1 be? It would be 110 degrees, right? Because that straight line has to be 180, okay? And then we already said that three angles in a triangle have to add up to 180, right? So if this angle right here is 70, then what do angles 2 and 3 have to add up to be? 110. So this is called, both of these together would have to be 110. So this is called the exterior angle theorem, which is if you know what this angle is out here, then you know that these two angles are exactly the same as that. Have to be the same. Because two angles make 180 if they're on a straight line, and then we know three angles inside a triangle also make 180 degrees. This is a really handy trick. So this lesson today seems kind of easy, but the reason that I'm going through it with you is not so much Math 3, because we don't deal with stuff like this in Math 3, but the reason I'm going through it with you is because it could be on standardized tests like the ACT or the SAT. So this type of thing, this exterior angle theorem, giving you an angle out here and then you having to know these angles in here, that is something I would expect you to see on a standardized test at some point, which is why we're going over this today. Okay, so measure of angle 1 equals the measure of angle 2 plus the measure of angle 3. It's those two angles added together. So today we're going to practice problems that are kind of a mixture of those two different ideas. One idea that all three angles in a triangle add up to 180. The other idea that this external angle is the same as these two internal angles. Okay, so if we have that this is 37 and that's 24, how could we find the measure of angle 1? Yeah, so this is going back to that first one where just the three angles add up to 180. So I'm going to do 180, take away 24, take away 37, and then what is that missing measurement? 119, okay. All right, and then Aubrey, you were telling us how to do number 2, right? So this one out here is what? And how'd you get that? So 76 and 52 added together is 128. So the measure of angle 1 is 128. Okay. Number 3, they get a little bit trickier. They tell us that the one out here is 104.
Wait, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Why don't we subtract, like, add the 78 from 52 and then subtract it?
You could, but that would give you this angle, and we don't want this angle. I mean, we can get it. That'd be fine. But these two are this angle, and we can go from these two to this angle directly. Because we talked about this theorem right here. We said that if these two are a straight line and a straight line is 180 degrees, if these two add to 180, if this is 110 and that's 70, then if this is 70 right here, then these two have to be the same as that because this is also 180. So it looks different. A straight line is 180, a triangle is 180, but since it's two different ways of adding to 180, they still have to add to the same thing. Yeah. Okay, so over here, if this is 104, what would we have to do to find this one? So 104, subtract the 79, and what do we get?
From that one subtracted, you get, I added the two of them, and then got 155, and subtracted 180 from 155.
Not, so we wouldn't be working with 180. So 25? Okay, 25. So wait, tell me what you did again?
So I added 76 plus 79 because 180 minus 104 is 76.
Okay, 180 minus 104 is how much?
76.
So this would be 76, and then you completed the triangle.
And yeah.
I got you. Okay. Okay, 25. All right, now this one down here, they're starting to make things a little bit more complicated. So we have two different triangles here. So we've got a couple different ways we could solve for the missing angles in this one. We could go for angle 1 first, or we could go for angle 3 first. What would you guys rather do? Angle 1? Okay, so how do we find angle 1? Okay, so we can subtract the 66 and the 84. And if you do that, what do you get?
30.
Get 30. Okay, so angle 1 is 30. Okay. What else can we find?
You can find 2 if you add 66, 43,
Okay.
30, and then subtract it.
So 180 minus 66 minus 43. So the whole triangle minus this angle minus this angle. Then the whole angle at the top is 71, right? And then we'll subtract 30. So 41 is the rest of that top angle. Okay. And then how do we find angle 3?
Add 41 and 43 and subtract that from 180.
Okay.
96.
96. Okay. And another way we could have found angle 3 is we could have done a straight line, which is 180. A straight line minus 84 would have given us 96. So 180 minus 84 is 96. So measure of angle 1 is 30. Measure of angle 2 is 41. Measure of angle 3 is 96. Okay. Let's look over here. What does this symbol mean in a triangle? 90 degrees. Okay. So if this is 43, can we find angle 1? Okay. So 180 minus 90 minus 43 gives you... Okay. Perfect. So the other thing you can do is, instead of subtracting them one at a time like I do, you can add them together and then just do 80 minus that answer, and that gives you the same thing. Okay? So we got angle 1. How are we going to get the other angles? Okay, 180 minus, what were you minusing? 43. And then what else? Oh, just minus that. Okay, and that gives you what angle? Angle 2. So angle 2 is 137. Okay. And then what else should we do? Okay. So 180 minus 137 and what else? 12. And that gives us 31 for angle 3. So angle 1 is 47. Angle 2 is 137. And angle 3 is 31. Okay? Angle 1 was 47. Does anyone remember when we have angles that are across from each other like this? Anyone remember what those are called? Not reflexive, starts with a V. Vertical angles. They're called vertical angles. And do you know the relationship between them? They're equal. They're the same. So if this is 61, then this is 61. That's because they're vertical angles. And they're the same. Okay. All right, take a moment and figure out what number 1, the measure of angle 1 is, and the measure of angle 3 is. So 61 and the measure of angle 2 are the same because they are vertical angles. Anyone know what the measure of angle 1 is? 51. Okay, what's the measure of angle 3?
29.
You knew what it was? That's fair. Okay, so here's the math for those. So measure of angle 1 is 51. Measure of angle 2 is 61. Measure of angle 3 is 29. Okay? Got it. For number 7, it says BC bisects ACD. What does the word bisect mean in geometry? Split. Splits it apart in half. What does half mean? Half. What does it mean about the two pieces? They're equal. Okay, so this was 90 degrees. If BC right here split angle ACD, so from A to C to D, that's this angle right here, if B ACD if it split ACD into two pieces that are split in half into equal halves, then what are each of the halves going to be? 45. So 45 and 45. Okay, go ahead and finish the rest of the problem. What are the other angles?
Is that a 15?
Would 1 and 4 be the same?
They would not be the same. Is what a 15? 45 and 45. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So what is the measure of angle 1? Okay, what's the measure of angle 4? Okay, so angle 1 is 87. 2 is 45. 3 is 45. 4 is 52. Okay. When you guys still were doing Elevate, did you deal with 2 parallel lines and a transversal?
We spent 45 questions on
You mean 45
minutes on
minutes?
one.
I did that with, like, when I was on the 99 and 6th grade.
What?
Okay.
I was like,
So we should maybe do that one of these days. Okay, let's skip down to number 12. So what do we know about number 12? We got 3 angles and a triangle. What do we know about those 3 angles? They add up to 180. So what we're going to do is we're going to write 9x plus 3 plus 5x minus 2 plus 11x minus 21. I added them all up. What do they equal? They equal 180. Okay. Let's combine like terms. Ooh, yeah, 25x. So 9x, 5x, 11x is 25x. And then what else do we have? This is negative 23 plus 3 minus 20. Is that what we said? Whew, okay, so we combine like terms. Add 20 to the other side. Okay. So 25x equals 200 divided by 25. X equals 8. Okay. Now, they don't just want us to solve for x, they want us to figure out what each of the angles is. So angle D is 5 times 8. 5 times 8 is 40. 40 minus 2 is 38. Okay. Oh, I wrote 380. 38. I don't know. All right. 9 times 8 72 plus 3, 75. 11 times 8, 88, minus 20, 68, minus another 1 is 67. Good. Okay. Do those all up to 180? Sure.
Do we add the 8?
We do not add the 8 because that's not one of the angles. They add up to 180? Okay. We're going to skip number 13 because that's exactly like number 12, so we don't need that. Number 14. What rule does number 14 use?
The exterior angle.
This exterior angle equals... This exterior angle equals what? Does it equal 180? So this angle right here equals what? This angle right here is angle DCB. So angle DCB equals angle A and B added together. Okay. So this angle right here equals these two added together. That's the exterior angle theorem. So we can add those two together. 13x minus 11 plus 4x plus 1 equals this one here on the outside. Because if this little guy right here plus this one equals 180, and this little guy plus these ones equal 180, then these ones and that one have to be the same. Okay, so let's combine like terms over here. What do we get? 17x minus 10 equals 18x minus 15. Oh, that's kind of nice. Okay, so what should we do? We can add the 15. So we get 5. 17x plus 5 equals 18x. Subtract the 17x. 5 equals x. Okay. So the measure of angle CAB, from C to A to B. CAB is this one right here. 13 times 5, 65. 65 minus 11, 54. Okay. Measure of angle ABC. It's this one. 4 times 5 plus 1. Okay. Measure of angle ACB. A to C to B. Ooh, that's the leftover angle here. So 180 minus 54 minus 21. What is it? 105? Okay. The measure of DCB, this right here, 18 times 5 minus 15, 75. So the 105 was from 180 minus 54 minus 21. 105. Okay. So we can deal with, we know that a triangle has 180 degrees. And we know that these angles on the outside are the same as these two angles on the inside. We're comfortable with that? Okay. Let me give you guys a paper to practice some problems with.